All is not as it seems with Russia's economy. Despite recording economic growth, Russia is on the verge of being bankrupted by the Ukraine war due to a combination of economic factors that, if left unchecked, will lead it to facing over a decade of economic regress. In other words, Putin is setting up Russia for a potentially devastating economic crisis that will last long after he's gone. In this video, we'll explore the various factors that are leading Russia toward bankruptcy, each of which has been impacted by the Ukraine war, to reveal why the country's growth figures are not as they seem. We start with the immediate impact of the war. According to the Center for Economic Policy and Research, or CEPR, the months that immediately followed Russia's February 2022 invasion of Ukraine were painful on the domestic front. The country's economy contracted by 4.4% in a matter of weeks, with Russia finding itself on the verge of immediate financial collapse. People were queuing in the streets to withdraw their money from banks, while the Russian ruble saw a 40% drop in its external value. Russia had to act fast to reverse these immediate effects. One of its actions was to hike interest rates to 20%, which then, combined with introduction of new capital controls, managed to place the country's economy back on a stable footing. Putin also announced increased spending on public services, starting with housing and later expanding into the military. The crisis was averted, at least in the short term. Putin's responses to the economic issues that immediately followed the war's beginning placed Russia on course to become a wartime economy. We'll cover that issue in more detail later. First, it's important to note the sheer cost of the Ukraine war to Russia: between $500 million and $1 billion per day. Ground Report revealed these figures in May 2022. Writing about a study published by the Center for Economic Recovery, it pointed out the first 5 days of the war alone cost Russia somewhere in the region of $7 billion. That amounts to $1.4 billion per day. Granted, these costs would fall, as the initial invasion was intended to be a smash-and-grab operation, in which Russia poured many of its best soldiers and equipment into Ukraine.